This video will show you how to install CodeBlocks on Windows and use it to create and run your first C++ program. So first thing you should do is just go to codeblocks.org or Google CodeBlocks and go to their website. Now to download it, go to Downloads and then download the binary release. Now this is very important. First of all, there is a Mac version of CodeBlocks and it installs, but every Mac person that I know that's used it says it crashes often. So I'm not recommending the Mac version. The PC version works great. So here on the PC version, there's something very important. You need to make sure you download the version that has the MinGW, because that is the actual compiler. If you just download the first one, that does not contain the C++ compiler. So make sure you get this MinGW-setup, and you can download it from one of these. And you can just take the defaults on the install. So now after you've installed it and open it up, then now CodeBlocks allows you to create projects, but for my class, we're just working on individual files. So what I do is just go to File, New, Empty File. And the first thing you should do is name it something.cpp, because this will allow you to create and compile both C and C++ programs. And if you create a C++ program and try to compile it with the C compiler, then it will not work. So the first thing we're going to do is save it as a .cpp program. So I'm going to go to File, Save File As, and I'll put it here in Documents. And you can name it whatever you want, but the extension needs to be .cpp. So we'll do a save. So now CodeBlocks knows that you're working on a CPP file. And so let's go ahead and #include IOStream library. By the way, you can zoom in. I use the control scroll wheel to zoom in. Then using namespace std semicolon int main open brace, and then let's do console out hello world \n to skip a line. And now it's standard to put a return 0. That means exits the program and returns 0 back to the operating system, basically. Okay, so now the tools up here are, you've got the build option, which compiles it. You've got the run option, which runs the executable. And now this tool is the one I use, build and run. It does them both. So if I hit build, you'll notice that I have an error. I did that on purpose. Because down here, it tells you the error. It tells you the line number of the error. But up here, it'll give you a red block where the error was. And I had left off a semicolon right there. So now once you complete the error, go back up to build and run. And now when it runs inside, it opens up a Windows command prompt and runs within that. And the output of the program is hello world. This stuff right here is coming from the compiler, and the compiler also put a pause in there so that it will keep the window open for you right here. The press any key to continue. Okay, so now let's look at the actual files that were created. So I'm going to open up my File Explorer, and here they are right here. The first thing, notice that my files are hello.cpp, hello.exe, and hello.o. But before we talk about those, the first thing I'm going to highly recommend, since you're a computer person, you're going to be working on files, is by default, Windows doesn't show you the extension of that file. And you need to see that extension because you're going to be working with files. You wouldn't know otherwise you wouldn't know the difference between a C program or a C++ program. So all you need to do is within the File Explorer, go to the View tab and then check file name extensions. And now you'll see the extensions, the .mp4, .txt of all your files from here on out. So I'm going to highly recommend you do that since you're going to be working with files. Okay, so now when you created the source code and wrote your program, you created this hello.cpp. Now when you did the build to compile it, what it did is it created kind of an intermediary file. .o means .object. And that's when it pulls down, it actually compiles the libraries like the IO stream that you included. And then using that, it will create your executable file right there. So now you can always delete these .o files. They're not needed. So anyway, there's how you install code blocks, create your first program, and run it.